What does a documentation manager do? Well, in this video, we're going to dive into that more. Hey there, my name is Josh, and I have over 10 years of experience in technical writing, and I'm also the founder of Technical Writer HQ. And before we dive in this video to learn more about what a documentation manager does, take a moment to subscribe to our channel, and that way you don't miss any of our future videos on how to create and maintain great documentation. Now, let's go ahead and get started. So first, we need to define who a documentation manager is. Documentation managers are the leaders of the documentation teams in a company. They're responsible for coordinating and supervising technical writers and maintaining cohesion between the tone and style of a company's technical documentation. And in most companies, documentation managers edit and update online and offline documentation, approve technical documentation, and often give the go-ahead to new documentation creation and train new technical writers on the team. And documentation managers can also work with software to manage document hosting and access approvals. So if someone wants access to a particular piece of documentation, then the documentation manager has set up that approval process for that. Now let's go ahead and move on to the role of the documentation manager. So they're responsible for reviewing and controlling the company's documents, like we had mentioned to some extent, and they also ensure that the right people can access them at the right time. And documentation managers may be responsible for department budgets and quality of documentation produced. In addition, they take care of things like each writer maintains the same tone and that all documents maintain the proper format, and they assign workload efficiently to avoid delays and also manage the publication of documents on time. And they also develop training plans to help their team improve their technical writing skills. Now let's go ahead and talk about educational requirements to become a documentation manager. So like most technical writing jobs, a college degree or credible technical writing certification, like from Technical Writer HQ, is required. And often it's best to just get a certification, as it takes a lot less time and is specifically focused on that particular job, whereas a degree can take up to 4 years and cost a lot more. And most documentation managers do usually have a college degree in business, English, communications, or maybe a technology related field, and often they have experience as senior technical writers. Doesn't mean that it's always necessary though this experience can be extremely helpful and ease a transition from being a technical writer or senior technical writer to a documentation manager. In addition, knowing the different types of technical documentation helps them to significantly improve their understanding of it, compliance, and communication skills. And it's ideal to have an advanced knowledge of publishing tools, especially when you have to work with industry-specific documents. So knowing at least one coding language like XML is often essential to working as a documentation manager. And this is very helpful when dealing with online documentation too. The technical industry is fast-paced, so as a documentation manager, you need to research new developments and trends related to the industry and continue to learn and hone your skills on the best ways to manage documentation at scales. And books can be very helpful, and they're often your best friend in your free time to really help you understand how to go ahead and conquer that role of being a documentation manager. And again, books, courses, even YouTube videos like the one that you're watching can do wonders in speeding up your learning process. And education experience are essential, but what about the skills a documentation manager must have? In addition to having some background as a technical writer ideally, some skills that will help you progress on the documentation manager career path are outstanding analytical ability, critical thinking, knowledge of technical documentation rules, command of at least one coding language, excellent time management skills, organizational skills, leadership, advanced understanding of different types of technical documents, strong editing skills, and impeccable handling of publishing software and tools like Madcap Flare, Confluence, and others, as well as excellent source checking skills, so you can make sure that your documentation is factual. And now that we know the educational requirements and skills that a documentation manager must have, let's move on to how to become one. The main thing here is to have ideally a university degree or a professional certification in technical writing, as we mentioned before, or even a knowledge management certification can help. And if you have both, much better. Previous experience, especially as a senior technical writer or simply just a technical writer, is really invaluable. It really just gives you grassroots knowledge of how documentation works within companies. The knowledge is helpful, but also the connections that you've made in the past through these works and experience. Remember that connections are essential in any career path. Former colleagues, clients, or acquaintances can make a difference in the next job that you land. And a great way to build connections within the industry is to attend conventions, meetings, and conferences where other professionals within the industry gather. So surround yourself with motivated people who want to advance professionally, and meanwhile, create a solid portfolio highlighting the skills you have acquired in your professional career. And of course, stay up to date with new trends and technical documentation. And you can do that by simply subscribing to different newsletters like the one that we have at Technical Writer HQ. We're always trying to update people on what's happening in the industry. And don't settle for the knowledge you have, and just seek to acquire as much as possible and really stay on the cutting edge. And learning something new almost always pays off as a great investment as long as you are staying on that career path and you are learning something with full intention. And finally, you want to explore job offers on different job boards. Social media can be a great platform as well to promote yourself as a professional. For example, LinkedIn should be your first choice for building connections with hiring managers and exploring job openings as a documentation manager, just connecting with documentation managers and technical writers at your ideal companies. Remember to keep your CV up to date and updated with the new knowledge and skills that you acquire on your way to the documentation manager position. Now let's go ahead and move on to an essential aspect for everyone, which is the salary. So how much does a documentation manager earn? According to the salary comparison website Glassdoor, the average salary for a documentation manager is $93,000 a year, ranging from $70,000 for the lowest paying companies to $148,000 for the highest paying companies. And as you can see, the documentation manager position is highly in demand and one of the best paid in the technical writing career. So the documentation manager position is again one of the most sought after and highest paid within the industry. But is it the right career for you? Well, this largely depends on your skills and abilities and ultimately where you see yourself aligning with the work that you want to do. Do you want to lead a team or do you want to focus more in the weeds with actually writing documentation? So the responsibilities can be a challenge if you take them on and they're not the right fit. And if you want to dedicate yourself to documentation management and leading a team, you'll have to hone your writing and technical editing skills, sure, but you'll also need to efficiently manage a team of writers and guide them to maintain tone and style alike. And as a wrap up here, we can say that the documentation manager is the highest authority in the documentation department of a company. And the responsibility is enormous, but the pay is very much aligned with that responsibility, and it's a demanding career path, and often only those with the necessary skills and knowledge can succeed there. If you want to be successful there, then I recommend working every day to become a better leader and become a better manager, and also learn as much about scaling documentation across companies with different pieces of software, as well as understanding how to maintain a consistent style and voice across all documents effectively. And if you feel like you have a better understanding of the document manager position, make sure to go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe to our channel. And again, my name is Josh, I'm the founder of Technical Writer HQ, and I'll go ahead and see you on some of our following videos where you can learn more about documentation. Cheers.